Good morning, everyone. How's everybody this morning? Just when you thought it was safe to short this market, here we go again. Welcome, everyone, to the tradingsyndicate.org. I'm JJ. Raj, Trademaker, Cisco, Lonigan, Ara, Rasto, how you guys doing? Gold Coast Joe, welcome to the room. Good morning. Welcome. So, very interesting day yesterday. We took out that 64.51 RTH high. And there's something I want to show you folks. I posted it earlier in the room. And also posted it on Twitter. If we take a look at yesterday, the end of the day, in that last hour and a half of trading, you'll see, and you don't even need market profile to see this. You'll see this on a half-hour candle chart. You'll see that K, L, and M low are all at the exact place. Then down here, you'll see the H and the I low, right? So there's a short position here, and there's a short position here. Now you're asking, JJ, how do you know that? Well, because the overnight low is a poor low right where the short position is, right? And we just had a little liquidation lower. Everybody got all excited that it was a shortable event, and then all of a sudden we're right back up. Let's go take a look so you guys can see. Market profile should be practical, right? You should be able to take this and use this. Now, how do you use this, right? Well, if you're short and you're coming down to a level like that, that's where you're going to be covering. Okay, that's practical information that you can use when you're trading. Market profile should not be this, just all this nonsense and gobbledygook, right? You should be able to take it and use it. So if you're shorting and you know that there are buyers down here, they're going to compete with you, you want to cover there, right? The poor low shows that's true. If you're going long, this is where you're going long. You put your stop underneath that level. Ride it all the way back up. Let's just go take a look and see what's going on now. Overnight inventory is short. Don't forget. Overnight inventory is short because the bulk of the trading is underneath the previous day's close. If we look at that, that's the liquidation that we had. And Cisco just said, right? He goes, "Oh, this is going to be a good short," and then all of a sudden, psych. Right? Just when you thought it was, right? He was just, as soon as he said, "This looks like a good short," that was when you cover. Right? But that's the way this market is structured, right? Now I have a video, and one of our guys yesterday, he sent me a message, and he said, "Holy crap, I just watched your video, why market's hitting new highs after selling off," right? And he goes, "It was a major paradigm shift." I will repost that video again, right? And it's something that you should all be aware of, right? Markets are structured this way at this point in time, right? That's what the business is at this time. So let's go see how are we going to trade this mess. There's that liquidation, right? See that? These half-hour bars are given letters. That J period liquidation, Cisco, that you just saw, you'll see that happen in RTH2. And we call that the J-low trade. Because J period will correct inventory, it'll shake out the longs, and then pop back up. And you'll notice that the K period that just opened now, right, is already up from 65 to 69. Right? That was a quick move up, right? Caught a lot of people by surprise. Now, our balance level tonight is 64 to 68.5. Right? You double it. 2 times profit is 77.5. The discount zone target is 64.55. Okay? This trade, my friends, when you know where the bids are, right? When you know where the buying is, you can have better confidence in that look below and fail. Because what you do is you buy 64, 65. You're not going to get 64 on a quick move, but you can buy 65, put your stop at 64, and then ride it all the way up to 68.5. If it breaks 68.5, right, you can hold the trade, right? But you know that there's going to be sellers at 69 and 70, right? So this is tactical information that you can use. It's practical information, right? And it's based on the actual business that's going on, not some, fancy indicator or, right? It's based on fact, right? None of this is random, right? Markets are not random. If you think billionaires throw money around randomly, you'll never be a billionaire. Everything is measured and done. Every battle is won before it's fought, especially in finance. Okay? So right back at yesterday's high, we just printed it, right? So before Steve gives me heck, I got to do a shout out for the room, right? So folks, if you want to learn how to trade from someone who's actually created order flow, from an industry insider, right? That's me, right? If you want to learn how to trade, how smart money navigates the market, come join us at the Trading Syndicate, right? Where we'll teach you practical, actionable ways of trading. Now, it's not a get-rich-quick thing, right? But we're going to teach you how markets actually work so you can trade them with intelligence. And then you can cut down on the emotional trading, all that trading psychology and everything, right? If you actually understand what you're doing, you're not going to need a psychologist, right? The reason retail traders choke out is because they don't understand what they're doing, right? So we'll teach you that. Use the discount code and we'll also help you pass those evaluations, right? And that's what we do every day, right? Now, let's see. Where's the next trade? Gosh, we just missed a beautiful K long off that 65. Now let's see what this crazy thing does. The problem is, once we get above yesterday's high, there's no inventory. Now what does that mean? That means that there is no overhanging supply that actually is there to sell in. So the only people who will be selling are the people who are long from yesterday and the day before, etc. Now swing traders have no reason to sell, right? Because they keep getting mark to market higher. Look at this, right? How many people do you think, Cisco, right? I'm not beating up on you. I'm really glad you said that. How many people do you think got trapped short there? because you're seeing the result of that now, right? The more people get caught short under VWAP, the more buying pressure you're going to get. That's practical information, right? Everybody thinks short sellers push markets down. They don't. Markets get liquidated because large size sellers are competing with each other to capture the buying and turn their inventory, ES contracts, into cash, right? They want to undercut the competition. That's why price goes lower. So, when price stops going lower, it means those sellers have found buyers, right? Those short sellers coming in, buying, right? They don't, short sellers don't hide their intentions. When they have to buy back, they come in hot and heavy, right? That's why in these markets, it's better, it's okay to miss the short. There will be a responsive long that's going to come along. Don't worry about it. The look below and fail is our favorite trade for this. Right? The look below and fail is the best trade for markets that have limited supply. Okay? And that's what we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with markets that have very limited supply because we are at all-time highs. Yep. Right? And what do they say in Scarface? Do not get high on your own supply. Right? It's very important, short sellers. Do not get high on your own supply. You need a seller to be present and force price lower for your short to work. Right? Otherwise, it's so easy to get into trouble shorting. Right? Now let's see. We're waiting for the next setup. Now, while you're waiting for the next setup, you should be relaxed. You shouldn't be searching for a trade now. Right? The next setup here is either a look below and fail of 68.5 or, right, a thing where it does this and then you can come under 68 and a short back down, but you know that there are buyers here. They showed themselves before. So what's more likely, that we've corrected inventory and we've trapped shorts? Right? If we hold these levels, right, and this is hard because we need a place to get long. You don't want to buy the top, right? You want to wait till it comes back and find some serious buyers who will support the market while you get long, right? Right. You know, shorting these markets, Cisco, it's like, it's hard. You know, it's like someone who's never surfed going out to Pipeline. And you know what happens on the North Shore when people wade out there and they don't know what they're doing? They get crushed into the coral, right? The wave just picks them up and hammers them into the coral, right? And that's what these markets are like right now, right? Yeah. I remember that movie, The North Shore. It was a good movie. So while we're sitting and waiting, just having your coffee, just relax. Just take it easy. Anybody have any questions? It's going to be a little frustrating. Let's see. Do we liquidate down under 68 and a half? No, I don't move my cost basis right now, Cisco. Like, if you get a big move, right? Like, say, if we're, let me draw it out. Say your cost basis is here, and a Fed announcement or some big piece of news comes, and the market rips up like 30 points, and then goes sideways here, then I'll redo my cost basis. But usually it's good. It's like, it's 2 times, 4 times, 8 times. Once it gets to 16 times, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll redo it. You know what I mean? The nice thing about cost basis is it's always good because the market is selling the same goods. It never changes, right? That's why my levels from 2020 still work 5 years later. Oh, let's see here. Oh, I don't have a TPO chart yet. Should I mark the tops and bottoms of a 30-minute candle? Hey, what I'd do is I'd run 2 charts of ES, right? If you could run, whatever your preference on the right-hand side, run a 30-minute. On the left-hand side, run the 1 minute. Just like I do. This is basically, right? This TPO chart is just like, as we say in Canada, a highfalutin candle chart. It's just a 30-minute fancy candle chart that shows you what's going on inside every candle. But you could just mark the tops and bottoms on a 30-minute chart and have a 1 minute next to it. And that's all you need. That'll help unclutter your screen. Yeah, I've got levels up to 6507, Moran, and the top of the larger time frame zone is 6547 and a quarter. So hopefully we get some liquidation. It would be nice. Right now I'm not seeing any sign of liquidation. It's been the story since COVID. The only liquidation, the big liquidation we have was when President Trump did his Judgment Day stuff, right? And messing around with the markets. You'll notice that the market, but every time this market liquidates, what does it do? Just ends up going higher and higher and higher. Yeah, don't be intimidated by the TPO chart. TPO chart is just a really fancy candle chart. There's a couple of things on a TPO chart that really help. Single prints. That kind of stuff. Poor highs, poor lows. All right. Where's VWAP? Do I have it in the right place? Yeah, I do. Let's see if we get a bounce coming into VWAP. Now, if you're short, yeah. So, hi, InfoFuel. What I do is I use this as a map of the city. This is the map of the neighborhood we're in. And this is what I use to take trades. This is where I get my situational awareness, if that makes sense. So the TPO chart is a longer, bigger time frame chart, basically a half-hour candle. And it tells me where I am in the city. Now, in the neighborhood, I've got to navigate using a 1-minute chart because it makes it easier for execution. Now, VWAP is an institutional standard by which large traders are judged. That's why I keep it on there, because VWAP is like the cool nightclub where everybody hangs out at, right? So there'll be responsive buying when you get down to VWAP, right? There should be responsive selling when you get up to VWAP, right? I don't use the standard deviations. I should actually just remove them. But usually I just mark VWAP and then I remove it so it's nice and clean. Right? The less stuff I have on my chart, the better. Right? Now I'm looking for a look below and fail of 68.5, but it's kind of futzing around here. And I know that there are buyers right here, but there is a little bit of selling pressure right here. Could you tell me what an order flow chart is? What do you consider an order flow chart? Oh, footprint? Nah, it's a waste of time. It's a lot of people get in trouble with footprint charts. They use a lot of language that doesn't make sense, like unfinished business, incomplete auctions. All of that stuff makes no sense at all. If you've ever worked a size order, you know when that order is finished, the business is complete, right? If you want to simplify your life, just use a 1-minute candle, right? Listen, folks, they will sell you anything, okay? They will sell you footprint, nose print, right? All sorts of nonsense. But you got to remember, it's only in the last 20 years that this stuff has been invented. And For hundreds of years, people have traded and made money. How did they do it without footprint, nose print, all that nonsense? Right? It's pretty simple. They just watched levels. Right? Hey, Jerry, good to have you back. How you doing? When you get settled, give me a call. We'll do a check-in. Now, I'm not knocking the way other people do business. Let me make that clear. What I am trying to do is I'm trying to simplify your life. Right? Wouldn't it be, you guys must be tired of looking at a whole bunch of different charts and not making any money. I know I was when I was doing it. It's tiring. You're looking at this, you're looking at that, then somebody says to look at this. What if you could just trade, make money by looking at one or two charts? No indicators. Just using common sense. Is that something that you would be interested in? Let me give you a little secret. Order flow is a marketing term. Order flow charts are a marketing term, right? The whole market is order flow. Buy orders flow in, sell orders flow in. They meet, they transact. The transactions are recorded on a chart. There's no special order flow charting or order flow software, right? It's all marketing to sell people stuff they frankly don't need. And it's a lot easier to steal money from people than to show them that they're being stolen from, right? It's very easy to come up with something and sell it and market it. I don't believe in that. I believe in telling you guys the truth and helping you make money in a practical manner, right? It's good to have you back, Jerry. How was your holiday? Yes, we will have more inventory videos. Now, inventory is a simple thing, and most traders don't talk about it because they've never had an inventory. See, when you work on a trade desk, they give you an inventory. That's where you hold your trades and your positions. The market itself also has an inventory where it's holding its positions. Sorry, John, I missed your question. What does it mean when it keeps trading through VWAP up and down? That means, John, that business is slow. And the market's just going back and forth through VWAP, right? And there's not enough buying or selling to warrant moving price far away from VWAP. So when the market's doing stuff like this, like say we were going back and forth through VWAP, it just means that it's a slow night in Walmart. That's all. Now London is opening. Try a little long at 69. Where am I long? I'm long 69 and a half. Bid for one at quarter. I'm going to go put in a 70 and 3/4 sell order. See if I get taken. I'm taking this trade on the micro to see if it works. If we break 68 half, I'm gone. Right? I'm just doing this to see. I'm going to move my sell order up to 71. Oh, sorry. See if We hold this. Now, if we see we're starting to retrace, as soon as we take out that 68.5, I'm gone. I know that there are some bids here. So if I felt like spending some more money, I'd move my stop down to maybe 67 3/4. But I don't know if the reward is worth the risk, right? Let's see. Be watching the offer, right? And now I have a reference. I have the top of that candle. So if we can't take out 70.5, right? This trade's not going to work. So I'm long at 2 at 64.69.38. Average, I'll put a sell order at 70.5 to see if there's any buying there. If not, I'm going to hit the bid and say goodnight to this trade. Out one at 70.5. Long 69.25. Offered at 71. I'm going to move that down to 70 3/4. Come on, take me, you dirty rotten. There we go. I'm out. Right? That's the look below and fail. Right? That's where I bought them. My stop was here. I put my sell orders out because I knew there'd be sellers here. That's it. You want to watch the ask. Don't worry about the bid, InfoFuel. The ask is the lowest price people are willing to sell at. The ask is moved up and down by the size sellers, right? So the ask will set the price according to the order flow that comes in. Now, order flow is just a fancy way of saying customers, right? So if more customers come in, the ask, or that red line, will move up. If we start to lose customers, the ask will move down to capture the buying, right? The ask is also called the offer, right? So if you look at my Twitter profile, my location is on the offer because I've always been a seller my whole life. Not a short seller, a seller of size, right? And that's because I always traded for the insiders who are selling you stock when you're buying it, right? Now, my only sin was not holding the trade longer, but that's the first trade I've taken. And actually, this is the first time I've actually been trading while I'm walking on a treadmill. So, now let's see if we can creep up to that overnight high and take it out. The offer is everything. Always watch the seller. The sellers are the ones who make the market. Don't worry about the buying. We'll take care of that. So does in this context, LBF and the balance zones always outweigh. You never open trades at VWAP, John. Right now, just use a fixed reference. Nice trade, Moran. Yeah, you don't open. I've never told anyone to open a trade at VWAP. So, I opened the trade above 68.5 because the sell orders under 68.5 are completed. Right? So, John, what is the business reason for me taking that long? Right? Because the sell orders here are done. There's nothing for sale under 68 and a half, right? So I'm buying 69, 69 quarter half, put my stop underneath that level, and sell into strength. Yeah, don't focus on VWAP, John. Focus on the level. Don't worry about VWAP. Okay? Focus on what I'm telling you to focus on. Don't worry about VWAP right now. Right? Just keep it simple. VWAP just happens to be there, but I'm not paying any attention to it. And it has nothing to do with the decision to take the trade. Okay. Now we're going to backfill this and let's see where the bid is. Not ready to take the overnight high yet. What about earlier? Like here, John? When it looked below and failed and then came back down? Is that what you're talking about? Right here? Okay, so had I bought this, I would have been selling into this strength, right? Then the sellers stepped in and we came back down, and then the sell orders were complete and we went back up. I know VWAP is there, John, but that's not your that's not just use the level, right? If I did this, John, right? Here. There. Maybe that'll make it easier for you. Oh, here. You mean right here? Yeah, that's because there's sellers here. Right? There were sellers here and they got flushed out down here and then the market rebounded. I use tempo rather than volume. I just use the levels. I just use the levels. I'm really simple, InfoFuel, right? If you mean by tempo when the market speeds up, yeah, I just like it's it's dirt simple, right? There's a level. The market looks below the level and comes back up. What does that mean? It means the sell orders that took it underneath this level are complete. The market rotates back up, looking for sellers, as markets do. right? Very simple. It is in fact so simple that it screws with a lot of people's heads. The reason a lot of you guys have trouble understanding this, because it is simple. It's not complicated. So you guys are always looking for the more complicated answer. When it's like sell orders are done, you go get long. Now, if you worked in the industry and you sat on a trade desk and you saw a 2 million share order hit the market on a sell and knock the market down, and then you saw that 2 million share block print from the trader to the client, which means the order is done, that's when everybody jumps in and buys. That's why now they have algorithms to cut up those orders to make it less obvious. Right? So the most important thing is to use a static level, one that does not change. VWAP fluctuates. Moving averages fluctuate. So the simplest way for new traders or traders who are not profitable is to use a static level. Right? It's very simple. This way you can focus on the execution. Right? Because let's face it, execution's always going to be a pain in the butt. Right? Markets change, tempo changes, right? Order flow changes. So you always have to be ready to adapt your execution, just like anything in life, right? So the more simple your analysis is, and the reason to be in a trade, right? A valid business reason, the more you can focus on execution. There we go. Took the overnight high. Now, let's see if we accept above it. Since yesterday's close didn't cause any price drop compared to most days, and everything was absorbed in the bid in the last minutes, then is yesterday's close a stronger level? Depends, Mr. Mother Truck. If we get there at 3 o'clock in the morning, might not be so strong. If we get there at 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, then it might be stronger. I do not like to judge a level until we hit it with some order flow, because I have no idea what's lurking there until we go tickle it. You know what I mean? That way it keeps me from being biased. Because when I get biased, I get into trouble. I hope that helps. People will always ask me, is this level stronger than that one? That kind of thing, right? I don't know until we actually go hit it. I don't know what orders are there. And the orders there at 3 in the morning are definitely going to be different than the orders at 10 o'clock in the morning. So it might be weaker at 3 a.m., might be stronger at 10 a.m. because there's more people awake trading it. Let's see if we keep on this march higher. Now, if you're shorting this, you want to make sure that you find a seller before you short it, right? When we're at an all-time high, right? Right? I let other traders screw around here. You guys can go lose money here, make money here. I'll let you guys figure it out. I'll let the large figures figure out these levels, and then I will only execute when my setup is present. This keeps me from all this FOMO stuff. I only do business when the terms and conditions match my terms and conditions. Then I will deploy capital. Until then, I'm happy to watch. And that's how you preserve capital. That's how you don't get stopped out 15 times during a day and all that stuff. Right? See how the candles are kind of this small choppy thing? That's distribution. There's the breakout. Remember, nobody has a cost basis up here. There's nobody who owns the ES at 64.82 who's going to come in and sell now. Right? We're on the front side of the move. Right? The front side of the move is for people to sell their inventory into, not for short sellers. You want to wait for the back side of the move. What's the back side of the move? Front side, back side. Right? Now we're in the front side. You don't short the front side. Right? Especially at new highs. This is price discovery. Price discovery is violent, and you don't want to be trampled by it. Nice trade, Howard. There you go. Beautiful. Right? 69 to 72. 3 points. It's a beautiful thing. Keep it up, man. Keep it up. You're getting there. Good stuff. Now let's see if we can stay up here long enough where we take that overnight point of control. Now that's 3,000 contracts. Can we spend up enough time up here so we can actually sell 3,000 contracts at one of these levels? You know what? I've got 77 3/4, mother truck. I've heard of GAN, but I don't know anything about it. On this chart here, I've got 77 3/4. Be interesting to read about this GAN fella. I've read the Wyckoff stuff. So what can you do? What do you mean? Sit and watch, John. Right? The market's in price exploration. Think Jacques Cousteau, except the other way. You don't know what's out there, so you don't want to trade this. Does that make sense? All-time highs are very problematic for retail traders because the order flow is not reliable, especially at 3:30 in the morning in New York. Right? So you don't want to short an all-time high I don't really feel great about buying an all-time high. About staying up to sell 3,000 contracts. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Can you explain? I want to answer the question, but I don't understand it. Oh, about staying up to sell. Oh. Okay, now I understand what you're saying. If we need to spend time here, John, to unload those 3,000 contracts to move the point of control from down where it was, right? This is the accumulation area, but because it's 3:30 in the morning, right? Can we stay up here long enough to unload 3,000 contracts, right? Can we stay up here for enough time to move those contracts off, right? Because our inventory is priced at 64.66. Can we stay up here maybe an hour and a half to sell those all? It takes time to distribute inventory, John. It takes time to acquire it, and it takes time to distribute it, especially at 3:30 in the morning in New York, when there's not that many people coming into the store. Oh, let's see here. If previous day profile is a full bell curve and small and closed below, how do you consider inventory of that? I would, without knowing much more, MIK, I would think accumulation. We could definitely get some liquidation after the point of control moves up. You'll notice, and I'd love someone to track it, how many times after a point of control moves up do we liquidate? So now we just hit 77 and a quarter. I'm looking for 77 and 3/4 on one chart, half on the other. Maybe if we get a look above and fail of 77 half, that'd be a nice short. But where do you want to bid, right? The problem is at all-time highs, John, this is very unpredictable. Very unpredictable. It's a real pain in the butt to trade. The order flow at all-time highs or at new levels is unpredictable and unreliable. Let's see. We got a new period opening in 4 minutes here. Oh, so the GAN levels move. Huh, interesting. Huh. So this is distribution, right? So this is the start when you see these candles grouped together like this, what we're doing is we're taking this and we're selling it up here. Not much going on right now, folks. So when the next half-hour period opens, if we open above this level, it'll tell us that the shorts are trapped underneath 64.75. So when you come back down to 75, you'll expect to see a little bit of buying there. See, if you think like a seller, like think as like a size seller, say you had 500 contracts and you see the buying coming in, you're going to keep creeping up the price, right? As long as there's not, and if your competitors are doing the same thing, because remember, it's groupthink. We've all, on the other side of these trades, institutional people are all trained to think the same way. So if we see that there's no competition, we will creep the offer up and make buyers chase price higher, right? Never short a dull market, especially dull markets that are electronically traded, because the algorithms don't have emotions. So what happens is it might look slow, but it's not weak. You know, that's the problem. Now everybody will be shorting this, right? Because the candles are tight, it's slowing down, it's starting to trade quote unquote heavy, it looks weak, all of that stuff. Let's see what happens in 10 seconds when the next half-hour bar opens. Not much. Oh, there we go. Right. There's our most obvious short position right there, between 75 and 75 and 3/4. And let's see if it fills. Well, that's it for me this morning, folks. Have a great morning. Trade safe. And we will see you at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Come join us at the Trading Syndicate. If you want to learn how to trade from an insider, right, from an order flow thief, we'll be happy to teach you. Have a wonderful morning. Be safe out there. And we'll see you at 9 a.m. Thanks for being with me. Bye for now.